Welcome back to the Money Effect, where I bring you all news, money, and finance related. Disclaimer: this is not financial advice and strictly educational purposes and just my opinions. Hit the like and subscribe for the YouTube algo and continued content. And now that's out the way, let's go. So, the topic I would like to discuss today and talk about news related is the Christmas period. So, it's a merry old season, probably one of the best times of the season, apart from the cold weather. Uh, so I'd probably say for me personally, it'd be summer, but definitely maybe the second best time of the season. And we know there's a lot of events, a lot of parties, a lot of drinking will be done, a lot of food will be eaten. If you're kids or just generous people, so if you're parents and you're just, I wish if you was kids, if you're parents and you've got kids, you're going to be spending a lot on presents and just in general. Maybe you've got nieces, nephews, such and forth, and you're a generous person and you want to spend on Christmas. And we know this time of the year can be a time to overspend. And a lot of people can spend beyond their means this time and end up with debt in January. If we look at this article here, it's by the Bank of England. So we know the Bank of England is, that's the central bank of the United Kingdom. They control the money as it's per se, and they did a survey and they've found that, you know, over Christmas, your spending habits can change, and on average, £740 more is spent in December, which is 29% more than a typical month. So, in general, this month is likely for most people going to be a more expensive month comparative to other months. And when I mean more expensive, obviously, last month your car insurance could be due, or you had a one-off massive cost. There's not really much you can do about that. But generally, this month in general is going to be an expensive month for people. Now, one thing I'd like to point out is our habits has changed a little bit because now we have Black Friday, and it does discuss this in this article. So if you was a savvy person, you've potentially already done all your main shopping anyway, and you've actually got genuine Black Friday deals where they're not just things that have been on sale all year and suddenly now they're highlighting them on Black Friday. No, these are actually genuine Black Friday deals where you're able to get a good percentage off, maybe 50% off some of the things, and you're able to now store it for the next under a month now till Christmas, and the prices have gone back up, so you've already saved a lot of money. And you will see that there's still, although Black Friday's officially ended, I think it's more diverse now in a sense where it normally started on a Friday, and then you'd have the deals on a Friday. Then it kind of got expanded to where the deals would be on a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday still. Um, then you'd have the Cyber Monday, but now it's kind of like you have Black Friday before. So even the week before Black Friday or 2 weeks, you'll see deals, and even now, like there's still some deals out there. Not obviously the best deals have gone or the main deals have gone, but there's still a lot of deals out there. So, if you're somebody that is looking and having to spend for Christmas, don't discontinue um, to be able to get deals on Black Friday. But what I wanted to discuss, if you are somebody that, you know, is somebody that is gonna be spending a lot, what's kind of the best way to manage your situation? One of the things is credit cards. Now, personally, me, I would never recommend a credit card unless you're able to, take out a credit card and know every month you use it for emergency use. You spend 100, £200, and you're able to pay off that credit card in full. Because if you don't, it can rapidly add up. So I personally wouldn't. I don't think credit cards are good, me personally, but you might be in a situation where you're looking at how you're going to purchase and finance your Christmas this season. You think, oh no, a credit card is the best way. So obviously, we'll get to it at the end in terms of some of this stuff might be irrelevant to those with bad credit, but assuming you have decent credit, the first thing you should be looking to do if you're looking to use a credit card, take one out just for purchases. You need to be looking at 0% credit cards. So they'll 0% credit cards, and then you get a certain percentage month of free spending. So basically, what that is as it says it here, is the cheapest way to borrow. It's basically you take out a card, and as long as you're using that card for purchases, you take that card out, you go to, I don't know, Foot Locker, you buy a brand new pair of shoes, and as long as you pay for that purchase on the card, there'll be no interest rate on it. And obviously that will be, that will last a long period of time. Uh, well, for a certain period of time, so you won't pay any interest rate on that. And obviously, if you can then pay that off throughout the whole year before there is interest rate on it, because that's the key. You want to get to it before there is interest rate, because once they add on the interest rate, you're looking at 30-40% is going to be amount. So you want to try and pay it off while it's 0%. And you've got some of the best deals right now. I think Tesco have got 0% on the credit card up to 23 months. Assuming you've got a club card. Sainsbury's, again, they've got a deal 22 months, and we will discuss it later at kind of one of the last topics. But you have to just be wary that these are kind of deals where your credit score is like 100%, and I think only 51% of people get these best deals. So likely once you go through the actual process of applying, you won't be getting 0% for 23 months. It might be for 12 months, 15 months, or whatever. But this is just like a rough guide of the top kind of banks. And again, there's some golden rules around this. You've got to pay at least a minimum payment. Now, ideally, like I said, I would try and pay, if you have like a period of 12 months free and you're not going to use this card again, then set out the amount you spent over Christmas and pay it that amount every month. So, for example, you've got £1,000 on the credit card, you've got 12 months at 0% free. That's £120 you want to pay off every month. But if you can't do that, you need to at least pay the minimum, which will just be £5. But bear in mind, then the balance is going to keep adding up. But if you don't pay that minimum, then you lose your 0% rate, and now suddenly you're stuck with 40% rate if you didn't pay £5. And again, here it is, try and clear that card during the 0% rate. And they might also have, they might, because it's used for a purchase card, they might have try and get their money back elsewhere by putting in higher fees to withdraw cash and do balance transfers, etc. So just be wary of those things. If you are getting a credit card and you're just thinking, you know what, I need to purchase some spending, probably you're looking at a 0% credit card, and just be aware of how to pay it back. And obviously you've got some, for poor credit scores, obviously look, the months won't be good. I think Aqua do 6 months. Again, it's just, this is all representative. Amazon do standard, 3 months. Haven't touched on it here, but we've got buy now, pay later. PayPal do an account where you get 4 months interest credit, depending on Very, AO. They tend to do 3 months, 4 months. But if you're just looking for a one-off purchase, like you want to buy your son an Xbox, or don't even know if they still have the PlayStations out for sale, and you're thinking, I can pay this off in 3 months, then potentially you can just get a poor credit card, or just use buy now, pay later. The second method of using a credit card would be a balance transfer. So with this, you want to, you potentially have already got a credit card. So if you've already got a credit card, you might not be able to take advantage of the best. If, say, for example, you've already got a credit card of Tesco, you won't be able to take advantage of that offer again, and it might not be appealing. So you might decide, you know what, I don't really, I can use my existing balance on my credit card. Say, for example, you've got a credit card, it's got a £3,000 limit. You've only spent £1,000 on it, and it's a 0% card already. And you're thinking, you know what, um, that period is over now. You're going to start paying interest. I want to continue maxing out that card, maybe spend another £1,000 on it, and then you can do what's called a balance transfer. So you can transfer that balance, and it has to be from credit card to credit card to another card, and then that balance transfer card, anything you've transferred over. So, for example, if you transferred 2,000 to your new card, that will now give you that 2,000 on your new card. You won't be paying interest rate on it, and on your old card, obviously, you're going to be paying interest on it now, but there's nothing you owe on that. And I would probably assume cut that card up straight away, because you don't want to now start using the old card and you still got an existing balance on the new card. So that's the kind of way it works. And a couple of things you have to be wary of. If we look at some of the best offers here, Santander have 31%, but then you have a 2.75% fee. So initially, when you're transferring the balance, if it's 2,000 you're transferring over, you're going to have to pay a 2.75% fee, which is going to be about £27, £27.50p, which is not bad. But obviously, if you've got you know 10,000 whatever credit card, then it could add up. So you have to bear that in mind when you're looking for these cards. I think Sainsbury's, though it has a 1.5, yeah, they have the best deal. I think 21 months no fee. And again, you have to bear in mind that you might not get these rates, and look for poorer cards. Fluid. There's pretty much, even if you've got poor credit, as long as you haven't got any defaults. If you've got a default, I'm not sure if you'll be able to get anything of these features, but you should be able to get a fluid. That's 9 months. So if you've got credit card debt, and potentially you can just transfer it over, finish spending it for Christmas, and then transfer it over to a balance, and you've got 9 months to kind of pay it all off. So that's how balance transfer works. And again, some rules. You need to clear the debt before the end of the balance transfer, because if you don't now and you just keep on paying that, again, you've got to pay a minimum amount. But if you keep on paying that £5 minimum amount, and after 12 months, for example, you've only paid £60 off of a 2,000 debt, then as soon as that 0% now, you'll likely find is actually going to be a higher rate than a standard credit card, and that's how they make their money back. So that on a standard credit card, you might be paying 24% APR interest rate. Let's just say interest rate and not say APR. But now, on a balance transfer, at the end of the period, you might be paying 30%, 40%. But you really need to clear it off. In same things, don't spend, don't withdraw cash. These are not cards to spend on. So once you transfer the balance, don't start using it in the shop and making purchases, because again, the interest rate on a balance transfer card is going to be so high. It's literally just used to take the balance from an existing credit card where you're paying interest rate at a higher month, and you're not getting the balance down, to put it on a 0% credit card where you can say, all that £100 I'm paying off on interest alone on my other credit card, I can shift it to this balance transfer card, pay 0%, and use that £120 to actually get the balance down. Again, potentially you have to do the transfer within a certain time frame. And yeah, you can't sometimes balance transfer between the same bank or banking group. So for example, Halifax and Lloyds are basically under one bank. So if you had a credit card with Lloyds, and you think, I'm going to go open a balance transfer with Halifax to transfer the balance from Lloyds to Halifax, you might not do that, because depending on their rules, that's technically one bank. So you have to make sure, and obviously that's an obvious example, but there's other examples of banks that you might not know that are under other banks, and you wouldn't know it at the time. So you probably just double check that when you're initially doing these things. So that's credit cards. And like I said, I wouldn't recommend a credit card, but if you're going to do it, try and stick to these rules, and use those 0% options as the best deals. Now you might be thinking to yourself, well, I've actually got a lot of credit cards, or I've got a loan, and that's really not going to be useful for me, because with if you have a loan, you can't now transfer that loan onto a balance transfer card to get 0%. It doesn't work like that. So that might not be for you. So one thing you could potentially do is consolidate your loan. And when we say consolidation, that just means basically putting all your debts into one loan, making one payment and one interest rate. And potentially, one thing about banks is, and unfortunately banks are there to make money, but the more money you take off a bank, the lower the interest rate will be. So, for example, if you borrow 5,000 from a bank, they might offer you 10% interest rate. But if you end up borrowing 10,000 from a bank, they might say 7% interest rate. So potentially, if you've got all these debts piling around, cards, loans, put them all into, get consolidation loan, put it all into one loan, all easy to manage. And if you've got a credit card debt, you're paying 30% here, you've got another debt 40% there, 20% there. You put them all into one big lump sum loan. Now you might owe 10, 15,000 or whatever, and you're just paying one interest rate free, and it's likely going to be cheaper. It definitely will be cheaper than all of them together. Again, this is assuming you've got good credit. So a couple of rules again. Look, start by making a list of your debts, understand your financial situation. If it's a credit card debt you're trying to pay off and it's less than 2,000 or whatever, then potentially consolidation loan is not better for you. Because you could have, say, 3 credit cards, and you could literally all put those credit cards onto a balance transfer, for example. So all those 3 credit cards, you could literally transfer the balance from one of them, all 3 of them, sorry, into one balance transfer card. So then potentially it's not better for you to transfer all those credit cards into a consolidated loan. Again, depends how long you want to pay off the loan. If you're thinking you can pay it off within 12 to 24 months, then you're going to get the 0%. If you're thinking it's going to take me longer than that and you're still going to owe money after that and you're going to be paying 29%, maybe you're just better to get the loan now where you're just paying a flat rate, especially if interest rates are rising next year, which I think, well, even if they don't, the banks are already planning that and they're already rising their interest on their products. So it would be better for you. And again, don't forget about fees and how you can afford to pay it. The final way potentially is overdraft. So we know in 2020, the Financial Conduct Authority said, you know what, overdrafts are just getting too complicated. There's just too many things going around. It's confusing people. And, it was confusing people because, you might go into overdraft, of £1, and then they're charging you £10 a day, and it's just ridiculous. It was getting ridiculous. So what they said is, you know what, replace all of that. Just anyone goes into overdraft, give them one flat fee, and basically every bank kind of chose the same one flat fee, obviously, which is 39%. Now you're going to say, well, that's why did the Financial Conduct Authority why did they do that? Because look, HSBC, you was paying 19.9% before, but now you're only paying 39%. And it's going to benefit some people. It would have benefited some and not others. If we look at, for example, Santander before, if you go into overdraft, you're paying £1 to £3 a day. Now, if you're constantly in overdraft and you're paying, even if you're just in overdraft by £1 and you're paying £1 to £3 a day, that's adding up to £30 a month. But if you're just in overdraft £1 for the whole month and it's 40%, then obviously it's not £30. It's going to be much less than that. So then that would benefit you. HSBC might not benefit you. So it did kind of depend. Some people, and also there's limits. So some amount would be, you've got a certain percentage, but then as soon as you get to another amount, it's like you're paying £10 a day. So it was really confusing, and it's going to benefit some and not others. And depending on your circumstances, you might be better off now than you were before, or vice versa. But basically, that's what it is now. And yeah, if you want to, I guess the first thing would be to go to your bank. Your existing bank. In during lockdown, most of the banks implemented the first £500 free overdraft. So if you're severely at that limit, maybe you could talk to your bank. Maybe they could implement that again on a personal level for you. Or potentially you could just look to move account now. Something like a Nationwide, for example, I think they have a current account where for the first year anyway, again, this is a representative example, but on the first year anyway, it's stated you can get up to 0%. So here it's a bit different. So interest on every penny. So on the first year, you can get a 0% overdraft of up to 2,750 for the first year. So again, depends on your circumstances. If you've already maxed out your credit cards, if you need to use that overdraft money to pay off a loan and the credit card's not suitable, then potentially, you're gonna have to switch your current account and get that 0% overdraft, and then you can pay it off, and you can pay it off whenever because it's an overdraft. There's no minimum payment, but again, same principles would apply. You're trying to pay it off before the interest period ends, but it's going to depend on your circumstances. If you've got an amount much larger than that you owe, or you're going to owe, or you're looking to finance your Christmas, these are the kind of the options for you. So, in conclusion, I'd say the first thing you need to do is you need to check your credit report. If you haven't done so already, ClearScore is free. Experian is probably the best. They'll give you a full report. You can also get a statutory report, which is a point in time on Experian. Just pay off one-off fee that will kind of give you everything more detailed. But obviously it's just a point in time. ClearScore will just keep your. It's free, so if you want to I think they have a paid service, but if you want the basics of what your score is and just monitor, you're not making sure there's no one putting any defaults on you, then ClearScore is good. But you'd have to know kind of how's your credit looking, because at the end of the day, like I said, all of these are the best credit. You might not be able to get that. You might be in poor looking at this, or if you are got good credit, it still doesn't mean you're going to get this. So if you're thinking, oh, you know what, I'm going to take out a big loan and I need to spend a lot of money this Christmas and I can just pay it off over 23 months because I've got good credit, that you might not necessarily get that. So use the soft scores first, making sure most now you get soft score, won't go in your credit history, and then it'll kind of give you a good estimate of what you're likely to get. And then you can do the hard search, because once you do a hard search, it goes on your credit file. And if you keep doing multiple hard searches in a short space of time, it can actually limit your credit within that time. And I believe you have to wait 3 months for it to correct itself. So again, that's going to affect you. Go to your bank. If you're struggling, check with your bank. Maybe they can offer you something. Look out for deals. Like I said, Black Friday, although it's officially ended, there's still deals. There's going to be deals to Christmas. This whole um, Boxing Day sales. I don't really think they do have Boxing Day sales, of course, but sometimes they start before Christmas. They start Christmas Eve, start a week before Christmas. Black Friday's still ongoing. So just because you've missed Black Friday, don't necessarily think, oh, well, I need to go and still shop around, still look around, because you still might be able to find good things on deals. And that goes the same with food as well, because food prices have gone high. You're going to be buying a lot of food again. Just spend time these next few weeks to just don't rush into it. Just spend time if you have time. Um, Also manage your month. Um, Potentially we might be heading into another lockdown. That doesn't mean go and the first night out you should go and spend your whole budget for partying in 1 month. Because if we don't, then it's either you're going to stay indoors for the rest of the month or you're going to end up now spending more. So just kind of manage your December, especially when going out and drinking alcohol, because that once you're drunk, you can become. I do it myself. Once the alcohol's in the system, sometimes you can become reckless with the spending. So try and put those rules in place. A lot of places take card nowadays, and there's a reason they do that, because but gone are the old days of I'm going to take out £30 in cash and leave my card at home. So no matter what happens, I don't overspend. They want you to take your card out because your card is, assuming, you know, it's your main card. It's you're going to be able to, even if you have to transfer money, you're going to have access to a lot more money than £30. So that's why they want you to take your card out. But you can still limit that by taking a secondary card out that's got a maximum amount you can spend. So I would do that. And then, maybe you are going to spend a lot, but maybe you're going to implement something going afterwards. So the two things are in January. I think there's no drinking in January. So maybe you're saying, you know what, I'm going to enjoy my Christmas, but January I'm not going to drink. Then implement that. And then going forward, maybe start budgeting for next Christmas. It's not something you've got in place. Maybe open an account. You'll be surprised, if you're able to save £30 a month, £40 a month, 12 months go by, and the earlier you do it, the better. You've now got a big lump sum to spend for your next Christmas, so you've budgeted on time. So those are the kind of things that I would suggest put in place. But overall, don't get yourself in debt just for Christmas. I hope you've enjoyed that and I hope you found that useful. Please like and subscribe. And yeah, till the next time, the money effect.